What's up, guys? Long time no talk. I just wanted to make a quick video about constructors. I've noticed that a lot of you have been trying to implement constructors into some of your assignments, and I feel like you have just you might have the wrong idea on when to use a constructor and when to not use a constructor. So I just have this little exercise that I made to to help it out a little bit. So before we talk about constructors, we have to talk about, as of right now, we know two different types of data structures. So we know our first one is our array. You know, our typical array is what we use is like which just memory right next to each other, all in like one block that holds the same information. And then you also started learning about linked list. So let's go over both of them right now. We'll start with the linked list. So let me play this slideshow from the beginning. Okay, cool. So what is a linked list? A linked list is pretty much just individual nodes that are created, and then they're all kept together by pointers, pretty much. So you know, we had our girlfriend struct from before. Our girlfriend struct, if we wanted to make it in the form of a linked list, it would hold all the information about the girls, their age, their name, and their hair. But then it would have one more variable at the bottom that's a pointer, and that's to the next node in our list, or the next girlfriend in our list. And I drew it this way because I wanted to like make it clear that when linked lists are not together in memory, they're all over the place, and the only thing keeping it as like one list are these pointers themselves. So whenever you create a new node for a linked list, it will create it wherever in memory, and that is why we need to have these pointers. Can we go back? And that is why we need to have these pointers pointing to the next ones, because since they're not together in memory, we can't just do like the pointer manipulation, you know, the array 0, then array 1, array 2. And now let's talk about arrays. So an array, a lot like the linked list, except all of the structs or the nodes are held together in memory right next to each other. And that's the main difference. You know, they each have their own advantage. You know, the advantage of the linked list is that you can keep growing it dynamically. You know, whenever you need to make a new node, you can just make a new node and attach it to the end of your list. But one of the downsides about the linked list is, since they are not held together in memory, if we want to access nodes like in random places of our list, the only way to get them is by starting at this head here. So think about the head is what we're always going to be holding. But if we want to, you know, add something to the tail of the list, we have to start at the head, we have to go to next, then we have to go to next, and we have to keep going to next again until we hit null, and then we can add to the tail of that list. And so if we're talking about like in runtime, if we're using runtime, you know, language, it would be order n time to insert a new node into a linked list, and in the linked list is n length pretty much. So we'd have to go through n nodes to add one to the end. But a nice thing about an array is we can access any index of the array at any point, as long as we know where it is. So if we know we want to access the third element of our array, we can go array 0, 1, we can go array 2, and then we will immediately have access to this. You know, and so that's that's the upside about the array, is that order 1 access. The downside is our array is always going to be one length. We can't, you know, grow the array or shrink the array. Like a linked list we can grow and we can shrink. And those are the two main things with linked lists and arrays. All right, so let's get back to our code. And so let's do a constructor for a linked list, you know. So we're gonna have this, let's say in our main here, we have I'm just gonna manually create one girlfriend, so this is gonna be our head. So I'll do girlfriend, and then it's gonna be a pointer, and we'll call it head equals, and then we'll malloc, and then we'll go size of girlfriend. Cool. So this is our first girlfriend on the list, and this is what we're going to use pretty much every single time to access any node. We have to go through this head. So we'll leave that like that. And then let's work on this constructor. So what is the constructor going to do for us? We're going to have the constructor create new nodes individually for every time we need it. Every time we call it, we're going to have it create a new node, and we're going to also attach it to the linked list simultaneously. So how would we do that? So first we would do it like, so let me get back to my code. We would do it like, you know, like pretty simple at first. So we're going to take in the name, the hair, and we're going to take in the age. So first, let's actually do the creation of the node, which is our original malloc statement. And we'll say, so we'll say girlfriend, and we'll call it new underscore girlfriend, or no, new GF equals malloc size of girlfriend. And so this is gonna, when we call this, this is gonna be the statement. What's wrong with this malloc? GF. Oh, it needs to be a pointer, sorry. There we go. Yeah, because remember, malloc always returns a memory address, so the only thing that can hold the memory address is a pointer. So we need to do pointer, a girlfriend pointer named new GF is going to create a new girlfriend, and then from that's creating the node, and now we just have to insert all the information. So we can go do int hair length equals str length. So string length, remember it's in our string library, it gives us the length of any string, and we'll go hair. H-A-I-R-E, okay, yeah, hair, and then we can go new GF arrow, because it's in pointer form, arrow hair equals malloc, and we gotta do in parentheses hair length plus 1, because we're doing hair length plus 1 because remember string length gives us the length of our string, but every string has one extra null character at the end, so we always have to compensate for that when we're mallocing. And then we're going to do times the size of char. So this is going to malloc, because remember hair is a pointer, so we need a malloc space for it. And then once we do that, then we can copy it in. Then we can go strcpy, and then remember it's our destination. So our destination is new GF. I'm going to go hair, and then what we're copying is going to be the string we pass in. So it's going to be hair again. And then, so this is going to get hair in, and I'm going to do it real quick. Also, it's pretty much the same thing for name, but I'm going to try to condense it a little bit. So what I can do is I can go new GF, and then I'll go, oh, I got to the arrow. And then we'll go name equals malloc. And then we can do that string length copy in here, which is pretty cool. So we can go in parentheses, strlen. And then we're going to go name, and then we'll do plus 1, and then that multiplied by size of char. Oh. So reading this right here, I just pretty much got this line of code, and I threw it inside of the malloc statement. So string length is always going to return a number. So we just call, get that number, and then we add 1 to it, and then we can multiply it by the size of char, and that's going to be the length of name. And then we need to do the strcpy again, the string copy. CPY. And then our destination, which is new GF, arrow, name, and then what we're copying, which is going to be name. And then we can save that. And then look, okay, so this is our constructor. This is constructing a new girlfriend, and then it's going to return a memory address to that girlfriend so we can attach it to our list. So now that we inserted all the, oh, we need to do age, and then we can literally just do new GF arrow age equals age. And remember, I'm using these are the passed in variables. We have to use the names that we're passing in. So the new GF age equals the age we pass in. And now we have all the information inserted, and we can return new GF. So new GF is a struct that we created, and then we created on this line 18. And then after, everything down here is us just inserting the information that we want to have inside of that struct, and then we return it. And then how we would call that in our main, down here, don't pay attention to this, is for later. How we would call that in our main is, oh, I'm an idiot. So this statement should be in here. Sorry about that. Fix this, make it look better. Okay. So how we'd call that in our main is we have our head. You know, we created the head already, and then what we can do is we can go head, and then we can do arrow next, and this is accessing. Remember, if we look at our struct, it's lol. This one doesn't actually have it. So this one would have a new, or it would have a girlfriend pointer name next. Cool. So when we access head next, it's gonna go, okay, head is a girlfriend type struct. It's gonna go inside of it, and then it's gonna find this next variable. And now we want to set that equal to what our constructor is returning. So how we do that is we go head next equals, and then we'll call, it's called constructor equals constructor. And then obviously we'd have to pass it in, you know, we'd have to pass it in a name, a hair, and an age. So like, you know, we can go like, you know, Mallory, and then I'll go, was it hair next? We can do, you know, bald, and then we can pass it 25. And you know, so this is gonna create a new girlfriend named Mallory who is bald and has 25, all in here, and then it's going to return an address to that girlfriend, and why did it do that? It's going to return an address to that girlfriend, and that is going to be saved in this next variable. So if we look here, oh, wrong one. If we look here, so let's say this is our head that we created, we are going to return this node right here, and then that us setting it equal to next is what connects this arrow here to the new one. And so let's say we want to make, you know, 2 more girlfriends, or we want to make 3 more girlfriends. If we really wanted to, is we can go into this main, and then we can go, now that we've created a head next, so now we have 2 nodes, we have our head, and then we have head next. We can go head next, and then we can do another next, and then so our first girlfriend is the head next to the second girlfriend. So if we go head next, that would be the 3rd girlfriend in the list. So then we can call constructor again, and we can pass it in, you know, I don't know, Randy, you know, and then Randy can have green hair, and he can be 40. And so this is going to make the 3rd node in our list you know, a new girlfriend or whatever. So what is this wrong with this head right here? Expected, oh, didn't put this here. Cool, yeah. So then this would make it, and then we could keep doing this forever, you know. I can go head, oh my gosh, head next. Let's go one more time. Next. And then this, you know, constructor, whatever, we know we can do Billy with 3 L's, and Billy's hair will be blue, and Billy will be 20. And we can do this forever. As long as the node before is created, had their space for it, we can do it in as many nexts as we want. The only problem we would have an issue is, let's say we didn't have this line right here, and we create the head, and then we access head next, and then we go head next. So let's say we only have one node, and we head next to the third node. If we have one node, and we try to access the third node, there's a missing middle node here, so we're gonna get a seg fault. We have to construct the second node before we can go to the third node, if that makes sense. And so this is what constructors are good for right here, because we can just keep calling the constructor, passing in the information we need, and not having to write this code every single time. You know, it's kind of annoying. And I've seen a lot of you have been trying to use constructors with arrays is the issue we've been having. So let's say, here's what I've been seeing coming from a lot of you guys. So let me delete this. And then, so a lot of you guys have been having constructors for an array. So what I mean by that is, let's say you wanted to, we have an array. We have an array of girlfriends, and what I've noticed is you've been like creating your array of girlfriends, but using a constructor for every single individual girlfriend, which is the issue. So let's say we have, you know, what I've been seeing a lot of is we have new, so new underscore gf equals Malik, and then what I've been seeing is like, let's say we have 5 girlfriends, you know, 5 times size of girlfriend. Oh, I need to make this a girlfriend. Pointer. So I've been seeing a lot of this, right? And then from here you like insert the information, you know, you do your str cpy, you know, you fill in all your information, and then you return new gf. And the issue we're having here is, I'm referring to, if you're in Gerber's class, the monster assignment specifically. If we already create an entire array of monsters to hold all the monsters, our constructor, if you want to call it that, we shouldn't malloc any more monsters. After we initially malloc all of the monsters, that's creating all the monsters. We just need to access those monsters and insert the information. So if I do this for every single monster, I'm going to make a list of 5 monsters for every single cell that we have, if that makes sense. You know, if I go array I, if I, like, the syntax I've been seeing is this. I've been seeing, you know, let's say we have a girlfriend array, girlfriend array, you know, equals Malik 5 times size of girlfriend. So I've been seeing this, and then I've been seeing array I equals constructor Susie Green 26. And then you guys are like, oh, why isn't this working? The reason, wait, what's wrong with here? Oh, sorry. So the reason that value of type girlfriend cannot be assigned to entity type girlfriend. Yeah, so it's already telling me like it's broken. You know, like what is the issue here? So this function is going to be mallocing a new list of girlfriends every time. Or even if we were mallocing any girlfriends, like if we have this line here, 38, where we malloc all of our girlfriends, our constructor should not make any new girlfriends because we already created it on line 38. So if we call it on line 40, we're not using any of the girlfriends we created originally. We are just creating a new list of them, which we don't need that. You know, if we're doing arrays, you only need to have one malloc statement. If we're doing linked lists, you need to malloc each node. So what we should be doing instead of this, because you know this is just returning a memory address to a struct that, you know, is supposed to hold a name, hair, and, you know, an address to the next pointer. Like if so be it, if you need it. So this syntax isn't right. what we want to do is we want to access array I, and then we want to insert it into, you know, we want to that, and then insert the information we need to. So let's say we would have another function that takes in. Actually, we can do it like this. We can leave this, and then we can go. We also need to pass it in a girlfriend list. So it's going to be a girlfriend pointer list. Okay. So if we have this, and we malloc, right? We malloc our list of girlfriends, and now we want to insert the information that we've processed from our info file. We can have this insert function here that can pretty much do this. It can go array index. So index is like, if we were messing with the second girlfriend, we would pass it 2. If we're messing with the first girlfriend, or if we're messing with the second girlfriend, we pass it 1. If we're messing with the first girlfriend, we pass it 0. So we can do array index dot name. Sorry, dot name, because remember, it's a array is a. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not called. It's called a list. Excuse me. If we go list index dot name, and then we can set that equal to malloc str length name plus 1, and then we need to put that in its own parentheses, because remember pem does. And then we can multiply that by size of char, and then we can do list index name again, or no, sorry, we need to do string copy str cpy, and then list index dot name is the destination, and then the passed in name is what we're copying. And then we can do something like this, right? And we can have the same thing for hair, same thing for age, you know, but except this time we do hair, string length of hair, and then we can do one last one, list index dot name or dot age equals the passed in age, and then we can just return. And the nice thing here is we don't need to return any memory addresses, because we have it here forever. This pointer is always pointing to that array, and so when we come here, we can pass in, we can call insert, and then insert, it needs to know which array we're working with, so which list of girlfriends we're working with, and we named it array here, so we're going to pass that in. And then we need to know the index we're working with, and then let's say we want to work with the third girlfriend in the list. We can go third girlfriend, and then it's a name. We can do Leo, and his hair is red, and he is 56. And we can call this red. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'd never passed an age. So it should be Leo, red hair, and then age. That should fix it. Perfect, yeah. So the nice thing about this is we have this pointer always pointing at this array of girlfriends, and then we can just pass that pointer in, access the one we need to, switch all that stuff up, and then when we return out of there, it's our array is forever changed and we're good. And then, you know, we can do that. So this is our insert function, much different than a constructor function. And remember, a constructor is always going to be mallocing space for something. But if we have previously malloced that space, we don't need to malloc it again. Constructors are really good for linked lists, because remember, like, if you're growing a linked list, then you need to malloc that space. But remember, an array can never be grown, it can never be shrunk, so it's just one malloc statement, and after that, all we need to do is access the array, and that's what this insert function would do. I hope that this was beneficial. I know it's been a while since I've been on here. It's just been kind of difficult, with like, I'm also taking classes, and like, it's just been hectic. But if you guys have any questions, always feel free to message me on Discord. Feel free to email me or just come up to me in person. Thanks, guys.